my major is general economics, and today I'd like to guide you through my new research, Outer Space, the New Discourse. So, before we embark on our journey, I need to guide all of you through the checklist. So we'll go through the introduction, where I got the idea for the research, then we'll define the term needed in order to understand this research, then I'll guide you through a hypothesis and methodology, then I will reveal to you the graphs, both in the part 1 and part 2, and then at the end we'll talk about the results and conclusion, and I will show you my references. Alright, so I would like to start off this PowerPoint with this presentation with a quote from Von Braun, tapped on January 7, 1972. I'm convinced that before the year 2000 is over, the first child will have been born on the moon. For the point of reference, the moon landing happened on July 20th, 1969. Well, there are the interesting quotes saying that with such a technological advancement rate, before the year 2000 is over, people will be living on the moon. Well, it sadly did not happen, but it was a nice depiction of an idea which we still believe in. Now, with this comes politics, and with everything in our life. So for my research, I always liked sci-fi. I read all the Jules Verne, like Around the Moon or From Moon to Earth. Then I watched movies or TV shows like Firefly, and played games like the No Man's Sky or the Outer Worlds. So when I joined Bepi and started thinking about my research, I knew that I always wanted to do something about the space, but I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. So I decided to research some treaties or conventions concerning the outer space. And I came across this one, the Common Heritage of Humanity, which is the one I focused my questions around. So the Common Heritage of Humanity principle is defined as the principle of the international law that holds the defined territorial areas and elements of humanity, common heritage, cultural and natural, should be held in trust for future generations and be protected from exploitation by individual nation-states or corporations. Pretty solid example. Now, with this, I thought about my hypothesis, and it's that there is a statistically significant difference between an individual's party affiliation, going back to my previous slides, and their views on the common heritage of humanity. So with that hypothesis, I started creating the online survey, and then I used the Amazon MCERT website to gather the respondents and their responses. Now, the requirements for the respondents in order to participate in this survey were that they need to be a current US resident and they're over the age of 18. After I gathered all my data, which was around 138 respondents, I analyzed it by using IBM's SPSS package, where I did all my cross tabulations and found the party affiliation. Now, the supporting data. To refresh your memory, everything outside the Earth is considered a common heritage of humanity, which means that no nation or corporation can claim anything for themselves. Now the question, do you think that the rule should change? Now, a lot of people were for the change, exactly 51.4%, but then 39.9% individuals or respondents were against it, and then 8.7% were unsure or undecided. Now, the supporting data part 2. As I dig deeper and I put the political affiliation into the equation, I got this data, which shows that respondents in the yes category were 79% Republicans, which I wasn't expecting, but okay. And then I was thinking, okay, since nowadays politics influence everything, so then no would be the majority of the Democrats, but I was mistaken because 71.44% are independent, and then at the 58.3 were Democrats. So that was a surprising data revelation. Now, I was able to prove that there is a statistically significant difference between an individual's party affiliation and their views in the common heritage of humanity principle, and it's statistically significant and less than a 1%, which I'm very proud of. Now, in conclusion, so, as with everything nowadays, politics will influences and will influence our lives and the outer space going forward. While the technology is not exactly there yet, sooner or later we will have to revisit all the treaties or the principles which were drawn around 40 years ago. We'll have to revisit them again and see what we can do about this. Now, what this research can build upon? Well, for example, I found a survey conducted by the Pew Research in the June of 2018, and I believe that this is another block which we can use to build our rocket. But of course, as with everything, further research is required. Now, I'd like to guide you through my references, and I of course highlighted the Pew Research Center survey, How Americans See the Future of Space Exploration 50 years after the first moon landing. I of course gave you some interesting fun facts like, for example, the man showing the rocket is the chief NASA scientist Von Braun, who worked with a tandem with Disney animators and executives on a short Men in Space documentary. Now I would like to thank you, Dr. Escaleras and Professor Levi, for the assistance and guidance from the project. And I would like to thank my fellow Bepi members and friends who provided me with a constructive feedback. And now I shall take your questions.